What's going on? Welcome back to another episode of Topic of Discussion. I am your host, Miles Berry. Without further introduction, let's get right into it. So today's topic is titled Growing Pain. Again, the topic for today is titled Growing Pain, and I chose this title because as we're going through life and as we're getting older, as we're growing, as we're maturing, as we're moving on to the next chapters of our life, we experience growing pain. And I feel like there's two versions of growing pain. And also along with growing pain, kind of like the stress and kind of what holds us back from growing, during these times. And I feel like it's really two things. It's one, when you know what to do and how to get out your situation, what you need to do to move forward, and what you need to do to grow and mature and just move on to that next level towards your success in life. You know what to do, right? But you're just so tired and you're exhausted that it's just like, I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna do it. And you keep telling yourself, I'm gonna do it. And days, weeks, months, years keep going by when you don't change, but you know what you need to do to change, right? And then I feel like the second way is when you have a desire, you want to change, you want to grow, you want to mature, you want to reach the success, you want to do everything, but you just don't know how, right? You just don't know how. So you have the desire to, you want to, you have all the energy to put forth towards it, but at the same time, it's just the planning stage. You're still trying to figure out, how do I do this? How do I move on? How do I grow? How do I flip to this next chapter? Right? So again, just to clarify, there are two different ways. One is when you know what to do, but you're so exhausted and you're so tired that you're just having a hard time just waking up and saying, all right, let me go do my plan now. And then you have the second option when you don't know what to do, you don't have a plan, but your energy and your desire, you wake up every day ready to make that transition, ready to put all your energy towards the plan, but you don't have the plan yet, right? And I'm tying all this into growing pain, right? So today, I just want to emphasize to everyone that we are going to experience growing pain in whatever aspect that you are in life, right? We're going to experience growing pain when we're growing, we're changing, we're developing, we're going through different chapters of our life. Unfortunate situations come up, unforeseeable events happen. It's just like life is going to life. Like I always say, life is always going to be life, right? So I feel like personally, that when you experience growing pain, you really need to sit down with yourself. And just like I said, we have two options. One, when the person knows what to do, but they're just too tired to do it. And the other person has the desire to do it, but they just don't have a plan. Right? So I feel like we really just need to sit down with ourselves. Okay. And for the people that are exhausted and they have the plan, they know what they want to do, but at the same time, they're just struggling trying to get that motivation, that energy, and that desire to just want to take that next step. And maybe you're dealing with hard times. Maybe you're dealing with financial problems. Maybe you're dealing with, you want a new job, right? You want a new job. You're tired of the job that you're at. It's not paying you well. You're barely making your bills and you're ready to transition. But at the same time, you know what you need to do, but you're tired, right? It's just like, I don't feel like going through the process. I don't feel like doing all that today. I'm gonna put it on the back end. Hey, if I'm just making it, I'm just making ends meet, then so be it. But I'll do it eventually. I'll do it eventually, right? We don't live forever, right? We don't live forever, and I try to emphasize that in every podcast or almost every video that I put out. We don't live forever. So therefore, when you keep wasting time, you're wasting your life, right? You're not just wasting your time in your day, you're wasting your life because it's going to add up in the end, right? But at the same time, who are we to tell you what to do? If that's what you want to do, you do it. If you want to wake up tired every day, you do it. But don't come to me telling me, oh my gosh, I'm so tired, when you already know the things that you need to do. You already even came up with a plan that you need to do. So don't come to me telling me that you tired, because I'm gonna tell you I don't even care. Because you already know what you need to do. So I don't know if you're coming to me for some type of validation or what. You get what I'm saying? When you know what you need to do, you need to jump on it, right? But at the same time, do it at your time. So maybe you're waiting a couple months and you're gonna transition and go ahead and do it. I, that's your life and that's your path that you're taking. But I'm just saying, when you have the plan and you know what you want to do with your life, but you're just tired, Just change the things that you're doing. Wake up with a better attitude, right? When you wake up and you are happy, you're staying consistent, you're making sure that you're doing your daily routines and you're just taking steps in the right direction. I feel like that desire will come back to you. That desire to push forward, that desire to go chase after your plan that you already made, the desire to go do everything that you want out of life, because what you're doing outside of that plan is also going to help you implement that plan into your life, right? If you're eating healthy, if you're working out, if you're smiling, if you're happy, if you're just living a happy life, it's going to be easy to find that desire because now you feel happy, right? So the desire, right? Because when everybody knows when you're happy, you're more willing to do things, you're just in a good mood, you can talk to people, like you're just feeling in a good mood. It's a good heart, it's a good energy, it's a good aura that's coming out of you, right? So therefore, when you're in a good spirit, I feel like a good spirit can transition into a great plan, right? A good spirit can also move a great plan in the right direction, right? But if you don't have a good spirit and you have a bad spirit, or you might have the plan, but your mindset is negative, it's going to be hard, right? It's going to be hard to put your energy towards that plan. And that also may be what you're struggling with right now, right? You might be struggling with that right now. And maybe that's why you can't put that energy and go out there and execute the plan that you want to, because now you keep putting it on the back end. And maybe it's because your thought process is negative right now, right? Maybe your outlook, your perspective on the world is negative right now, right? Maybe you're putting too much pressure on yourself. Maybe you're just dealing with a lot as a whole. But remember, if you change your mind, you're gonna change your perspective, right? If you change your mind, you're gonna change your perspective. And also what you put into your mind is also gonna change your perspective, right? So the things we hear and the things we see have the ability to affect our mind and our heart. So when you change the things you hear and change the things that you see to something positive, to wisdom, to understanding, to things that you can apply to your life that can help it grow, and not apply to your life just to be part of the world, it's going to make a difference in your life. And that also might feed you and give you the energy that you need to transition into that plan or execute that plan to be successful in life, right? So then, boom, transitioning to the other person that I was talking about. Remember, the one I was just talking about was the person that has the plan, but they're tired. So now we're transitioning to the person that is has I'm sorry, we're transitioning to the person that's full of energy. They wake up every day, they have a positive mindset, they're ready to work, they're ready to succeed, they're ready to grow, they're ready to develop, but at the same time they're struggling coming up with the plan, right? They're struggling coming up with the plan to execute and to move on in their life, or to develop and to reach that success they want to in their life, right? So therefore, because they're struggling with that, it's kind of taking an effect on them. It's kind of taking a toll on their life. But at the same time, they're still waking up with a desire to execute their plan. They just haven't came up with a plan. So if this is you, what I would tell you is sit down, right? Y'all heard me say before, write things down. Write the things that you want to do in your life. Write the way that you're being consistent. If you are being consistent, or if you're not, write ways that you can be consistent. Write the plan that you want to do to be successful. Write ways that you can execute that plan to be successful, right? So when you come up with a plan, or you're transitioning in life, you always want to have a plan, because you don't want to be in that transition stage and maybe something don't go the way that you planned it, and then you're stuck, right? And maybe you say, okay, I'm gonna go get another job, right? And you thought you was gonna get that job, you thought you was ready to transition, but nothing was finalized. So you left your old job, you were transitioning to the new job, something happened with the new job, and now you're stuck, right? Now you're stuck, but your bills are not stuck. They're gonna keep coming. So now, what I'm trying to emphasize here is just watch your moves and plan accordingly. So when you plan your success, you want to be ready for like plan A, plan B, plan C, right? I know in our mind we want to be like, all right, plan A. Plan A don't work, it don't matter because plan A gonna work, right? But it's good to also just have a backup plan just in case. Like that, just in case. Just in case, right? Because I'm the same way. I want my plan A to work. Whatever I come up with, plan A, it gotta work. If it don't work, I'm gonna make it work. I don't care what I gotta do to make it work. I don't care if I gotta struggle even harder than I was before to make it work. I'm gonna make it work. That's how my mentality always be. But it's good to come up with a plan B as well, because sometimes life is gonna life, right? And if you can just come up with a plan B along with your plan A, like go ahead and try to your best to execute plan A, but have something on the back end just to work with just in case. So, like I was just saying, make sure you write everything down that you want to do with your life. Make sure that you come up with a plan that you can execute, and then just over time, try to execute that plan. Try to execute what you're reading down, right? And read and understand the things that you wrote down. Read, understand, talk to God about. Actually, don't even talk. Tell God what you want in your life. Tell God what you want in your life. If you want this, tell him. If you want this, tell him. If you want to move here, tell him. If you want to do this, tell him. He knows your heart, but he wants to hear it, right? And he wants to hear verbatim out your mouth, right? So tell him the things that you want. He's always going to give us the things that we need, but we have to trust him to do that. We have no trust. He knows we don't trust him, right? So we act like we trust him, but he knows our heart. So you know what I'm saying? So if you don't trust him for real, he's gonna know that. So make sure that you're not just speaking to him and telling him the things that you want, but you're believing in the things that you want and also believing that his will be done on your life, right? You have to believe both of those things, right? Not one, but both, right? So I just wanted to emphasize that today, and just I want us to all understand that we are all growing, and as we grow in life, we are all going to experience some type of growing pain, right? And you have the power to make your growing pain positive or your growing pain negative. You have the ability to make your growing pain affect you, to help you grow, to help you grow spiritually, to impact your life in a positive way. You can, like, your growing pain doesn't have to be negative. Yes, it's a pain because we're growing, but it doesn't have to be a negative pain. It can be like, all right, that was a growing pain. Like, I had to go through some things, but at the same time, I'm happy I went through it because it really made me, you know what I'm saying? It made me who I am now. And it's always going to do those things in our life, but at the same time, some people go through growing pain and it breaks their character. It breaks who they are, right? And they lose themselves in the growing pain. And really, I feel like part of growing pain are, because when we go through growing pain, for people that don't know kind of what I'm emphasizing or what I'm getting at here, growing pain is basically when we go through things in our life and they're transition periods. They're like transition periods in our life when we're transitioning. That's the way I look at it. So if something happens in your life, good or bad, the worst thing or the best thing in your life, that's a growing pain, right? And more so on the negative side, right? So if you're going through something or something impacted your life, you're now experiencing growing pain. If you're transitioning through a job, if you're going through certain things in your life where it's affecting your life or it's impacting your life in any way that's kind of making things hard, I put that under growing pain because now you have to grow, right? And it's not saying that you're not a grown man. It's not saying that you're not a grown woman, but now you have to go back to the drawing board and say, okay, what do I need to do right now? What plan do I need to come up with, write it down, and what plan do I need to execute to make sure that I get through this phase of my life? Because I'm experiencing growing pain. You're not going to experience growing pain one time. You might experience it 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, all throughout your life, right? So therefore, when we go through this growing pain, just take time to make sure you understand who you are as a person, because you don't want to lose yourself to growing pain, and you don't want to lose yourself to this world, right? And if you can just do that and stay true to who you are, stay true to who you are and the things that you want to do with your life. But at the same time, don't be so stuck on yourself or so selfish or so self-centered that you can't change. Because all throughout our life, we are going to change. We are forever evolving. So if you feel like I can't change my life and I'm perfect the way that I am, maybe you have some reflecting to do, right? And life might be going good for you, but don't ever think you too good. Understand that life is going to test you in a lot of ways. And our job is to ride these waves and get through these waves. We don't want to drown, right? We don't want to crash out on these waves. So our job is to understand who we are as a person. So when we experience these growing pains, we're able to already understand who we are. Now we're just trying to come up with a plan to execute through these growing pains so we can make sure that we get out on top, right? Because we don't want to lose ourselves. And people that already lost themselves before have been broken to the point where they feel like they lost themselves, they understand what I'm talking about. We don't ever want to go down that road again or feel like we're lost in the world, right? And we're so lost in the world, but sometimes you can be surrounded by people. It can be somebody right here, right here, right here, right here, and you're surrounded by a room full of people, but you still feel alone. And I know somebody's going to be able to relate to that, where there are people all around you, but you still feel like you're all alone, right? And like I was just saying, I feel like somebody can relate to that. And when you feel like that, just understand that you have to keep pushing, you have to keep growing, you have to keep understanding who you are as a person because you're losing yourself if you haven't lost yourself when you feel like that. So now you have to go back to the drawing board and understand, okay, what things make me happy, what things make me me, what makes me me, what makes me happy. How do I go throughout my life, or how do I go throughout my day? There are 24 hours in a day. What do I need to do to make sure that I'm my happiest, I'm the best version of myself, I'm making an impact in this world, I'm thinking positive, right? My perspective of the world is positive. Maybe I need to go back to do self-reflection, right? And sometimes we need to go back to the drawing board. We need to go back and stare in the mirror and understand who we are. Because sometimes the image in the mirror or the reflection that we see in the mirror gets lost in the world, right? So now we're no longer looking at a reflection when we look in the mirror. It's like if we look at the mirror, we're looking at the world, right? So now you're looking at the world trying to find yourself, and it's going to be hard to find yourself when you're looking for yourself in the mirror. So therefore, what I'm saying that, or what I'm getting at by saying this is, you need to understand who you are, because if your reflection is not yourself in the mirror, then you're lost. And what I was just saying is that when you're looking at your reflection in the mirror, you could be seeing the world because you're lost in the world. So every time you try to look at yourself, you see the world, and you need to pull yourself back out of the world, right? Right? And sometimes, as you guys heard me say in another episode, sometimes it's difficult for us to pull ourselves back out of the world. So now we need to, wherever we are in the world, we're lost, we're lost, we're lost. God, I need you. I trust you. God, I need you in my life. I'm praying. I want to do better. I want to change my ways. And don't just be saying this. Want to actually change your ways and start to try to actually change your ways and make an impact. So tell God, I need you. I need you. I need you. And God is going to pull you back. So when he pulls you back, now when you look in the mirror, you're gonna see yourself again. You're not gonna see the world, right? You're not gonna see the world until you go out in the world. But now your reflection is gonna be a mirror image of you, and it won't be a mirror image of the world, right? So again, we're gonna experience growing pain, and I just want us to continue to grow and continue to develop and understand who you are. All right. Hope you guys got something out today. This has been Miles Berry, topic of discussion. We have.